Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is a question or comment that was left by a viewer who basically said that they've been hired as a GS5. They hold a bachelor's degree and were wondering why some people got a 6 or whatever. So, I mean, when you apply for a job, some jobs they are looking for people who are with experience, and there's some that look for people who don't have experience. There's some that hire within. There's some that do all sorts of things. So I want to go through this very quickly. So if you hold a bachelor's degree by right, the lowest qualification you can have is a GS5. And with a bachelor's degree, again, it also depends on who is hiring you. Some agencies they have the ability to give you something that is called superior academic uh, achievement, which is that they will allow you to get a GS7. Now, once you're in the federal system, basically all of that stuff gets thrown out the window. So when you're selecting a job, you need to be very careful. If you come in to a job as a GS maybe 4 or 5 or whatever, and you're holding a bachelor's degree, or even for some people who may be holding on to a master's degree coming in as a GS5, for example, and then you want to apply for a position. So a master's degree holder has the ability to get a GS9 job, as well as a PhD has the ability to get a GS11. So sometimes if you're wanting to get into the federal system, but you're not coming in at the right level, if you are in a position that doesn't have the ability to get to your current capable level, meaning that if, let's say, you have a master's degree and you apply for a GS5 only position, and what's going to happen is you're going to have an SF50 that's going to generate a note saying that you're a GS5, and a lot of times when you apply for a job, you might get stuck with, oh, you're not with the time and grade. So be careful with that. If you're capable of getting a GS7 and you hold a master's, but your position goes to a 9, I mean, I don't see a big deal there. But if it's stuck at a 5 or something like that, I would be a little bit more cautious with that. So, being that said, so like I said, the person was hired as a GS5. So I want to go through the qualifications very quickly and kind of show you the difference between position to position. So let me see what I have open here. So the first one here, this is for a radiologic technician. So it gives you the basic requirements, and as you can see here for GS5, there is no real basic requirements, or how should I say, no educational requirements. It's just this basic certification here saying that you have education. Now as a 6, it just basically says that you have completed one full academic year, but it's not talking about your GPA or anything like that. So as a 7, it also does not talk about your GPA or anything. So when you apply for this job, you could be holding on to a bachelor's degree, and they could throw you into a GS5 position. And the reason for that is a lot of times the federal government, when they hire people, they try to get you at the lowest possible position. Even for myself, I hold a bachelor's degree. I had the academic achievement of a very high GPA, but what had happened was in the hiring process, the hiring manager kept emphasizing that they wanted to hire me as a GS5. I have background in my field, and they basically threw it all out the window. All they looked at was the education that I had. Uh, but at the final, I guess, assessment, the HR gave me a GS7, and that's the only reason why I took the job. Otherwise, I would not have taken the job. But as you can see here, if you were to apply for this, more than likely they will offer you a GS5, even though you may be highly qualified. Even with experience, you can try to negotiate your starting position. by showing your pay stub. And that may or may not work. So I'm going to close this one out. Here's another one that talks about being GS5. I believe this was so how do you know what your potential is? So this is the pay scale 4 to 5. Like I said, I'm not really an expert on what the job duty is. I'm just talking about looking at just the GS grade itself. So you could actually come in as a 4 or a 5, and the maximum is a 5. So here basically it talks about qualifications again. Once again, it's not really talking about much other than here in this statement here, it talks about having 2 years of education beyond high school that will help you to get this GS4 grade. At the GS5 grade, as you can see, it basically states a little bit further that you have previous experience, or here it shows that if you hold a bachelor's degree, then you will be qualified for the GS5 level rather than the 4 level. So that may help you when you're applying for this job, holding the bachelor's degree, that you'll be coming in at the bare minimum, which, like I said, as a bachelor's degree holder, you'll be coming in as a 5. So that's one thing there. So we'll close that out. And here we can see that at the, again, this is a very similar one here, whereby it talks about a GS5 coming in, and basically you could come in with the background, with experience in education. Here, and for the 7, it also talks more about having experience rather than the education. Now, I don't have a job. I couldn't find one. Usually it happens a lot in science, whereby they will talk about getting a 7, and because you have the achievement. I couldn't really find anything like that right now. So I can't really show you that example, but I just want to help the person. Hopefully the person does not feel as though they've been let down or something like that. That's just how it works. I mean, I don't make the rules. I'm not a hiring manager. I have done interviews and I know what they are looking for when they do stuff like this. So yeah, hopefully this helps the person. Also helps anyone who was curious about it. If you, like I said, you hold a bachelor's, once again, just emphasizing the point, you can come in as a GS5 or GS7. If you're holding a master's, you can come in as a GS9, and if you're holding a PhD, you can come in as an 11. One other thing for those who hold a PhD, if the maximum level is a 12, be ready that you may not actually be promoted to a 12 within 1 year. They may hold you back for that. So that's another thing, that if you're holding a PhD, be careful. Don't just assume that within 1 year you'll be promoted to the maximum level if the maximum level is 12. So that's all I have for you guys. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.